Hey, y'all, you listen to the Gary Owen podcast. Hashtag Get Some. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. As always, you can listen to this on iTunes or go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. Everybody knows this is Super Bowl week. Shouts out to the New England Patriots. You fucks. You won again. That's why the ratings were so low. I think a lot of people were saying the Super Bowl ratings were so low this year because of Colin Kaepernick. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think people are sick of New England in the Super Bowl. That's what I really think. I just think they're like, all right. And you got to realize New England was playing the Los Angeles Rams, who it's not one of those traditional powerhouse teams. It's not the Steelers, the Packers, the Cowboys. I think that had a lot to do with the ratings being so low. But game was terrible too. God damn, that was a terrible Super Bowl. But look, I'm going to get in a Super Bowl in a second. I'm about to get into my schedule. Before I do that, you hear that beat? But it's off. It's fine. Sorry, we got interrupted by my coffee machine. There's a couple beeps. But before I get started, shouts out to my hometown team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Got a new head coach. I'll be drinking my coffee out of my Bengals coffee cup during today's podcast. And for those of you that are watching this on YouTube and making fun of my cabinets behind me, listen, we just moved from Ohio to California. And granted, we've been here 3-4 months. But we had 11,000 square foot home in Ohio. And we moved into a smaller home in California. Same price. But that's what you get for the weather. But we got rid of a lot of stuff. But we kept, we got some pods that had to get delivered. Not to mention the U-Haul drove cross country. So we're still unpacking. Takes a while. So the cabinets behind me today, I put some Bengal cups in honor of Zach Taylor. And honestly, I don't know anything about Zach Taylor. It's just the unknown makes it exciting to be a Bengals fan right now, because honestly, we don't know what we're getting, and that the optimism is what makes it exciting. And what he did for Jared Goff and the Rams, how Jared Goff was basically a bust till Zach Taylor got there and got his hands on him. Now, granted, Sean McVay got a lot of the credit being the head coach of the Rams, but when you're the quarterback's coach, that's the guy in the room every day watching film with the quarterbacks. So we'll see. We got an average quarterback in Andy Dalton. I don't think Andy's terrible. He's definitely not Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, but let's see what can happen with a new coach and Andy, because it's clear Andy's going to be the quarterback next year. So I'm not one that goes, we got to get a new quarterback. Not necessarily. Let's not jump off the bandwagon that fast. But I think I'm going to get on a rant about my Bengals. So let me get my schedule out of the way. February 8th, this Friday night, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. It's funny how I'm there the week after the Super Bowl, which I'm actually okay with. And the tickets are selling great. Then the February 9th and 10th, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee at Zany's Comedy Club, which most of the shows are sold out. So we just added 2 more shows. We added a third show Saturday and a second show Sunday because Saturday and Sunday was already gone. So we just added 2 more shows. So we'll probably add a third one Sunday, as I'm guessing. Maybe a fourth one Saturday if I want to work that hard. I'm not sure. Valentine's Day, February 14th, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the PAC Center. That's right on the campus of LSU. That's got a bunch of singers. It's like Lil Duval. That's funny. Lil Duval's called a singer now. And Tamar Braxton, John B. Who else is on that? Marsha Ambrose, Robin Thicke. I got all the soulful white dudes on that show. And then February 15th to the 17th, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri at the Kansas City Improv. February 18th, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska at the Funny Bone. And then February 19th, I'm in Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone. So, and then I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, February 21st to the 23rd. Yep. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in, everybody. So if you hear these cities, Atlanta, Nashville, Baton Rouge, Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, Birmingham, I'm coming to your city this month. My Black History Month tour is what I call it. So anyways, let me get back to the bank. Oh, and shouts out to everybody in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was in Pittsburgh last week, and I grew up to hate the city of Pittsburgh and everything about it. But the more I go there, the more I really enjoy the people there. I really enjoy the city. And you guys come out, man. You support me. I can't. And it's funny. It's like a love-hate. You guys always give me crap about being a Bengals fan, but you still pay tickets to see me, man. So it's cheers for you, Pittsburgh. My Bengals coffee cup. Thank you so much for Tyler Boyd. We appreciate it. It makes you wonder, man, when you go to Pittsburgh, how many good football players come out of that area, man. You got Tony Dorsett, and just recently Ty Law got inducted into the Hall of Fame, just found out. And then Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the NFL right now. Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati. Playing for Cincinnati now is from Pittsburgh. And James Conner, the running back for the Steelers. Just so many good ball players that come in that area. Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver. So many. Curtis Martin, take it back. Something's in the water out there. I don't know what it is in those three rivers, but something's in the water. But let me get back to the Bengals. I'm just so utterly excited. I don't know much about Zach Taylor. I know he's 35 years old, which makes me feel like I got to get my life together. Because I remember growing up, I thought NFL coaches were all 60 and 70. And now you see guys that, he graduated high school in 2012. What? Who does that? There's a guy, coach, like Zach Taylor graduated in like 2002 from high school. Who does that? He looks so young. It looks like he shouldn't be there. But now the big thing is who the Bengals are going to get as their defensive coordinator. That's the big news. Hopefully they'll get an old veteran. They were going to get Jack Del Rio, but for some reason that didn't work out. So it's just a good time to be a Bengals fan. I'm sure the Dolphins feel the same way. They got a new head coach. The Packers got a new head coach. Anytime your team sucks and you get a new head coach, it's exciting. The only team that doesn't want a new head coach ever is New England. Because I don't know what is in the water and what Bill Belichick, that mad scientist, what he does, but goddamn. I really think you paired the greatest head coach in NFL history with the greatest quarterback in NFL history. It's unbelievable how good those two are. Because everyone that watched that game and the Rams versus the Patriots, the whole game, you felt like New England was blowing them out. And you kept looking up like, it's only 3-0. It's only 3-0. And then it was 3-3. You had no doubt when New England tied it up. When the Rams tied it up, that New England was going to go down and score. There wasn't a doubt in anybody's mind Brady was going to drive right down the field and do it. It's just like, and then they finally score a touchdown. And then it's 13-3. And I was like, this is unbelievable. They did it again. They shut down the Rams' high-powered offense and held to 3 points. It's just, he's the best. Bill Belichick is the best head coach in the history of the NFL. And it's not even a close second, honestly. Not in to Tom Brady. Here's what I blame. I blame Mo Lewis of the New York Jets because he's the one that hit Drew Bledsoe going out of bounds and knocked Drew Bledsoe out of the game, and Tom Brady came in. If you don't make that hit, Mo, so Jets fans, it's your fault. It's all your fault and Mo Lewis's fault. I don't want to hear nobody else, nothing else. It's the New York Jets and Mo Lewis. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have hurt Drew Bledsoe. Anytime it's funny when a quarterback gets hurt sometimes, and you look how it changes the whole direction of a franchise. Tony Romo 2 years ago, preseason game against the Seahawks. Seahawks hit him. Romo's out. Dak Prescott gets in. Cowboys, they had a great year 2 years ago, had a great year this year. It's like whole franchise changed on that. What I will say is Lil Duval had a funny Instagram post. He goes, don't bet on the Rams. They've been in the clubs all week in Atlanta. And sure enough, he goes, you didn't see a speck of the Patriots anywhere. But he said the Rams was out. I was like, whoa. I remember years ago when the Steelers were playing the Cardinals in the Super Bowl in Tampa. And we went out and hung out. It was Wednesday night. So that was the one night the players could go out, and they had a curfew at 10 a.m. I'm sorry, they had a curfew at midnight. And I was with a couple of the guys on the Steelers, And a lot of the guys like, man, we got to go. Curfew's midnight. And a couple guys is like, oh, we already sent our fine in to Coach Tomlin. We're staying out tonight. It was Wednesday. They won the Super Bowl. So it's not like it came back and bit them in the ass, but they literally was like, we already paid our fine. We're staying out late tonight. Now, they weren't out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They weren't out late. But Wednesday night, a couple of the Steelers, and I was with them, man, they was getting it in. It was like this. And they literally told me, they go, Gary, this is our one night. We're in the Super Bowl. We're going to enjoy the festivities, and we're partying, and we already paid our fine. I think it was like $10,000. They sent the 10 G's already to Tomlin and the Steelers. It's like, nope, we're partying tonight. That was their one night that they got to party. I'm not even mad at that because if you're 40, yeah, but when you're early 20s, mid 20s, your body can recover. You're fine. And it's not like the week of the Super Bowl, you're going to be hitting in pads and going hard anyways. But I remember that. And then I'm trying to think any other Super Bowl stories. Nah, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. No, I won't tell any of the Super Bowl stories. Now, I will say I went to a box. I like going to boxing matches. I talked about one on my last podcast, but I went and saw one time I saw Lennox Lewis fight Hasim Rahman in Vegas. And when I went to that fight, I remember we stayed at the Mandalay Bay, and I didn't see Lennox Lewis anywhere. I never saw him around the casino. I'm just talking about in the casino. I didn't see anybody with Lennox Lewis gear on, nothing. And I saw Rahman everywhere in the Mandalay Bay. I saw either him or people with his party. And I remember telling my lawyer at the time, that's who I went with, my lawyer. I was like, I don't think Rahman's focused. I said, he's living it up as the champ. I don't see Lewis anywhere. And sure enough, Emmanuel Lewis is Webster. Emmanuel Stewart, who is Lennox Lewis's trainer, said right before the fight, they was doing an interview with him. He goes, I was worried about Lennox. He said, because he's coming off a knockout, lost to Rahman, didn't think he'd be focused. I don't know if mentally he was there. He said, I saw him playing ping pong the night for the fight after the weigh-in. And Emmanuel Stewart goes, you good, Lennox? He goes, yeah, man, you want to play? He goes, then I knew he was fine. He goes, because he was just with his crew playing ping pong in the room. How big is that room? You have a ping pong table, though, by the way. And it just said knew he was focused on the right things. And I think Rahman was like, dude, I'm the heavyweight champ, and I want people to see me in the casino and get that love. And look what happened. Rahman got knocked out, and Lewis won the fight. And I was like, wow, that's crazy how you don't think about stuff like that till afterwards. But you can look at the other way. Lawrence Taylor was getting it in all the time. I heard the Steelers back in the day, the 70s Steelers, man, they was partying all week leading up to the game. So it's like, what do you want? Boom, boom, boom. This is what I always say. I want my quarterback to be in. If my quarterback's out, we don't have a chance. So I don't think Jared Goff was out partying. I don't. My defensive players, I don't really care. Your defense is gonna be wild. I want a bunch of wild dogs on my defense. I'm okay if my defense is out partying. I just think you got different rules for different positions. Defensive linemen, especially if you're a big dude there to clog up the hole. I don't care what you do. Go out to eat, go to buffets, go to barbecues. Just get big, boy. Put on that weight. I can care less what you're doing. Quarterback, though, my punter, I know it sounds weird. My punter and kicker, I don't want going out. I want them focused on the game. You can't be kicking the ball hungover. Come on now. And it leads me to when the ratings were so low for the Super Bowl, and then people were saying, I saw some people saying it's because of Colin Kaepernick and the protests. I don't necessarily believe that it's going to move the dial like that, because it was like a 10-year low or something like that. So I just think it was the teams that was in the Super Bowl, and there wasn't that much excitement leading up to it. Because I think everybody just but I think everyone deep down in their soul believed the Patriots was going to win. So you didn't have that excitement of, we don't know what's going to happen. And then the game was a dud, so you didn't have people tuning in during the game. I think that's why it was really low. But it makes you wonder, you hear these artists that said they wouldn't perform at halftime and stuff, or they wouldn't do anything for the Super Bowl for the NFL because of Kaepernick. But then they'll go to Atlanta and they'll perform. or they'll do certain parties. And I'm like, so are you really protesting Kaepernick? Are you not? Because if you're really protesting Kaepernick, then you shouldn't be in Atlanta doing anything that has to do with the Super Bowl. So it's like I don't know, it's like manageable protestism. It's manageable ways. It's a manageable protest, I call it. Like I think deep down you want to support Kaepernick and you do support him, but you're also like, I ain't missing out on this chance to be at this party and to make this little bit of money or a lot of money a lot of times. So makes you, and then, oh my God, the game sucked. And then the halftime show was worse. Holy shit. That was one of the worst. I think that was the worst one I've seen. I don't know. I like Maroon 5. It's a great group. They got great songs, but they don't like move you when you hear Adam Levine sing live. He doesn't have that voice that's like booming. That's gonna. And then as a performer, it just looked awkward. It looked awkward when he was up there with Big Boy and Travis Scott. It just didn't. It looked so forced and out of place. He looked like the white dude that was trying to learn the dance steps. It looked like it was like a wedding and it was the cha-cha slide and he didn't know the moves and he was trying to learn the moves. And it was just like, oh, it was just bad. It was bad. And again, I would never say this to anybody's face. I would never say this to Adam Levine's face or Big Boy's face or Travis Scott's face, ever. I wouldn't say it to your face, no. But on my podcast, it was terrible. It was a hot freaking mess. And everybody said it was. It was bad. And then he takes off his shirt and he had all those tattoos that I didn't know he had. And I was like, dang, clearly you got a lot of time on your hands. And it was just like, it looked like the performance wasn't going well. So Adams was like, well, screw this. I'm gonna show what I'm working with. And he just took off his shirt. Had nothing to do with the song at all. And I just wish they would have made it completely Atlanta. I wish they would have went like Outkast would have brought them back together and had Monica perform and Bow Wow, which we'll get into that later. I mean, Bow Wow had a rough weekend in Atlanta. And just, so anybody from So Def, just have the So Def reunion. Had that come out. I mean, there's just so many great artists that came out of Atlanta. Could have had Usher go up. I mean, TLC would have brought the house down. They'd have come out. Oh my gosh. I was just like, there were so many opportunities to have a bomb halftime show. And the thing about it was, if you just has Usher and TLC and then Monica, they don't have to sing like all their hits. All they got to do is everybody sing like a hook or half a song to one of their hits. And then it clearly segues into somebody else. I mean, crowd would have went nuts. And people forget TLC was the highest grossing female group of all time. So I'm like, at their heyday. I mean, hell, I don't know. I never missed Beyonce so much in my life. I was like, where's the beehive? Where is the beehive? Somebody needs to get stung. Clearly. I would have rather just had a hologram of other people. It was just bad. It was just really, really bad. And, but now it's over. I would rather have Colin Kaepernick come out and perform, honestly. I would have him sang some songs. And then the commercials weren't good. The best commercial was the NFL one. When they had all the NFL guys, all the old guys, and they was, I don't even know what they were promoting. I don't even know. I just know they had Marshawn Lynch grab the cake, and then he dropped the ball, and then it was like all these past and present NFL players doing all the moves that made him signature. You had Dion doing the high step, Barry Sanders doing the, act like he was running the rock, and then he stops on a dime. Emmitt Smith saying, yeah, I got more yards than him. Tom Brady telling Baker Mayfield, hold my rings. I was like, it was just, that was the best commercial for a sports fan, by far. But other than that, it's kind of terrible. Honestly, the game was terrible. Halftime was terrible. The commercials weren't good. It just fell flat on so many notes. Okay, the other news coming out of Atlanta that weekend was Bow Wow got in a huge fight, got arrested with his girlfriend. And and I've heard so many different reasons why he got in a fight. Hold on, I'm going to look it up. Hold on. Bow Wow. That mugshot was not good when Bow Wow got scratched up on his face. I've heard like, was the girlfriend hollering at somebody else? I don't know if he. Let me look this up real quick. I don't want to. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to give half the story, and then people get in your ass about that stuff. Okay, what's the latest on this? Bow Wow's okay. I'll read like just a news report, not a blog site. The alleged fight that landed Bow Wow and his girlfriend in jail early Saturday morning started because rapper got jealous she was talking to another man at a party. According to Atlanta police, told Moscow Celebs his girlfriend was talking to another man at a party that night, and they got an argument over that. It is unclear whether he was referring to NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, who held a carnival-themed Super Bowl party in Atlanta on Friday night. Because reports Moss was spotted at O'Neal's party. So basically, and this is pretty accurate. Bow Wow got mad because his girlfriend was talking to somebody else at a party. And said the rapper hit her in the head, pulled her by the hair, dragged her in different rooms in the apartment. Police said she had some redness on her lower back, red marks on her right fingers, and some broken fingernails. Moss told an officer that he tried to talk to Holden about how she disrespected him at a party, and she started yelling at him. He said she later became aggressive and grabbed a nightstand lamp and threw it at him, but it missed him. She also allegedly scratched his face and neck. He had visible, and he did. Bow Wow had some visible scratches on his face. So it's kind of like, I mean, well, it'll all play out, but people are making fun of Bow Wow. But if he didn't physically hit his girlfriend, then we shouldn't be making fun of that dude, because we always say don't hit a woman. And I've been hit by a couple of females in my life, nothing crazy, but I'm talking about my entire life. And the last thing that went through my brain was hit them back. The only thing that goes to my brain was, if I was going to hit her back, then I'm probably going to jail. And when I say been hit by a woman, I'm talking about minor shit. Like, one girl hit me in my arm one time. She was mad, but she hit me in my arm. Like, think. I don't know what I did, but I just remember that one. It was so long ago. And then I got slapped one time too. Why did I get slapped? I had to be like 19. This girl slapped the shit out of me. But I can't remember what it was for. Something stupid at a party. And I just remember the last thing through my head was hit her back. I just was like, I remember just sitting there, whoa. I was like, the one girl slapped me when I was 19. I was like, are you happy now? Do you feel better? But the last thing going through my brain was hit her back. So I guess it'll all play out. But listen, if you go to a party, if you're not married, you're not engaged, and I don't know, these people that they bring, these fine ass women. Let me tell you something, comedians, rappers, actors, athletes. When people say men are dogs, you got to realize when you're talking about entertainers in general, let's say, and that goes football, basketball, tennis, golf, because sports is a form of entertainment. Comedy is a form of entertainment. Acting is a form of entertainment. Singers and rappers are a form of entertainment. When you bring a bad chick that's new on the scene to one of these celebrity-filled parties, she's going to get hit on. I'm letting you know. When you bring him out to L.A., look, Kanye West is classic. I mean, he brought Amber Rose. Amber Rose came ready to get on the scene, because the first time he got a picture with her on the red carpet, everybody was like, who's that? Who's that chick? Next thing you know, she's dating all these different celebrities. Listen, if you don't want her to get hit on by celebrities or entertainers, don't go to Atlanta. Bow Wow should have went to Milwaukee that weekend. He should have went to Seattle. You should have been off the scene. If you really think this might work out and you like this chick and she's bad, don't bring her to these celebrity parties, man. I'm telling you, she's going to get hit on. And especially if she ain't been on the scene lately, or she ain't ever been on the scene, the entertainment scene, you don't know how these girls are going to react. You don't. I'm like, this, just these guys, they bring these bad chicks. I'm like, dude, I've seen it. Dude, I remember when I started dating my wife. Oh my God. We'd go out, everybody was hitting on her. I just sat in the back. And I always look like this. I go, look, if she's going to holler, then she ain't really like me. That's the thing. So I remember one dude came up and literally I'm on stage and I'm looking at this dude hitting on my wife. I ain't going to say who it was, but he was straight moving in and I'm watching it. I'm sitting telling my jokes, watching this dude move in on when it was just my girlfriend at the time. We just started dating. And I ain't lying. It was the first time I brought her to a comedy club in LA. And even though I met my wife at a comedy club in LA, I took her to a different comedy club. And I'm sitting and the dude literally moved in. And I asked her when we was on the way home, I said, hey, old boy was talking to you? She goes, yeah. She goes, I had to start laughing because she was sitting by herself and the dude moved over and was like, you look lonely. And then she was like, no, I'm fine. He goes, you here with somebody? And she was like, yeah, my boyfriend. I'm here. She goes, who's your boyfriend? And she pointed to the stage and my wife said the dude just couldn't believe it. He was like, huh? What? And he just kept looking like back and forth, like, how did Gary pull that? And I'm like, I got jokes. There's another comedian, and I'm not going to call comedians out like that because I want to work with you guys again. And I know I didn't take it personal. I just know how we are as entertainers. Because let me tell you something. When you bring these hot chicks that ain't ever been on the scene in entertainment, and entertainers, a lot of us aren't used to getting told no like that. And a lot of times when you got, especially Super Bowl parties and stuff, you bring girls out to stuff like this, entertainers in general are used to being the man when they're in the room and they're not used to having competition. So when you do Super Bowl, Grammys, All-Star, and you get a lot of entertainers together, it almost becomes competitive, I think. Like, let me see if I can get this number from this girl. And you know, it happens. I remember one time this other comedian, tried to talk to my wife. It was hysterical. This was pre 9/11. So when you could still meet somebody at the airport gate, and I get off the plane and my wife's sitting there and then she tells me, you ain't gonna believe who I just saw. And I go, who? She goes, blah, blah, blah. And I went, who? And she said, when she told him she was waiting on me, he was like, well, I got to get on my plane. She goes, okay, it was good talking to you. He goes, so can I get your number? And she was like, are you putting Gary on your TV show? And he was like, no. She said, then you don't need my number. I was like, ride or die. I think I proposed right after that. I was like, ride or die. That was some of the most gangster shit I've ever heard a woman say. The dude says so. And here's the thing. I'm not mad at the comedian that did it because I was like, I get it. I know what you're about. I know you're probably not used to getting told no. And I was like, at the time, this dude had his own TV show, one of the top dogs in comedy. And he was just like, and she was like, well, if you ain't going to put him on the show, you don't need my number. He was like, and here's the thing. I've never worked with that dude ever. And I'm just like, I think that could be why. I think because it could be awkward. So, yeah, that was some gangster stuff. But I'd be telling, like, if the story's true, and I'm sure it is, that Bow Wow got mad because his girlfriend was talking to another dude at the party and probably another celeb, and he felt disrespected. I mean, you got to be careful, man. When you're in the limelight like that and you're bringing girls around stars that are bigger than you, because I'd be thinking, you got to think, would that chick be down for you if you worked at Chipotle? Would she still be with you if you was a UPS driver? Would she? Now, one thing I can say about my wife is I know she'd still be down. If I told her tomorrow I'm out of comedy, I'm going to start growing soybeans. I'm going to be a soybean farmer. My wife would be online like, okay, let's go get some seeds. We got to find some land to buy. But that's her. And she's never been, she's been around, the business her whole life. Like she grew up with Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, that stuff. And she knew Tupac when he was on the way up. So, goddamn, we're old. Fuck. So she's been around the business. But yeah, you just gotta be careful, man. You bring people around like that. I've seen it. Hell, I went on let me tell you something. I went on a date with a girl when I first got to LA, and she clearly was one of those girls that was going with the wind. Whoever she thought was hot, she was going. And I knew it going in. And we were crossing the street on Sunset. And like I said, when I first got to LA, I was broke. So the only place I would take girls was comedy clubs because I knew I could get in free. And I say, let's go here. I don't know who was there that night. So-and-so was at, I'm making up the name like Chris Rock or Jim Carrey's at the Comedy Store tonight. Let's go there. Okay. So I picked her up. We're crossing the street. If you've ever been to La Cienega and Sunset, there's a pink dot right there. So we're crossing the street. I parked at like the bottom of La Cienega because I couldn't afford parking. So I knew this apartment building that didn't check for parking, and they had guest parking. And so I'd always pull in there and park. And they had 4 spots, so you could park for free. So I pull in there and park. We walk up La Cienega, which is like a workout now. And then we get there. And as we're crossing the street, these 2 dudes honk. And they was like in a Lincoln Navigator or something. And they honk. And they start talking to the girl. And she like indulged them. She was like, yeah, what's up? Da-da-da. And then they pulled into the Pink Dot parking lot. And she went over to talk to him at the car. And I went, oh. So I kept walking to the Comedy Store. I walked in the Comedy Store and told them I'm by myself. So if anybody says they're with me, they're not. Never seen that girl again. Never heard from her. Never seen her. And I should have known because her goal was to be a backup dancer in a music video. Like when I told her, what do you want to do? She was like, because I got a show with Casey and JoJo one time. And I remember I called her like, yo, I'm going to Salt Lake. I'm hosting a show for Casey and JoJo. She goes, ooh, let me go. I'm trying to be a dancer. She's like, ooh, put in a good word for me. I'm like, huh? Never saw her again. I don't know where that chick is. Hopefully them dudes took her home that night. It was 20 years ago. I was like, look, I didn't call him a B, but I was like, woman, you ain't going to leave me. And that was some disrespectful stuff. But I didn't get mad. I didn't want to argue with her. I was just like, deuces. So if I was Bow Wow and I brought a girl to a party and she's clearly talking to another dude or exchange numbers, I'm going to be like, deuces, going back to the room. Later. Hope you get home. I'm out. I ain't going to be arguing with you though. Or if you was that bad, I might knock it off one more time and then say later. Instead of getting a fight, just turn over, hit it from the back, and be hitting it hard, like, yeah, mother. And then we yelled at other dudes' names that you was talking to. Maybe pull her weave out. Like, oh, I got excited. Good luck the rest of the weekend with your scalp. Okay, so enough about that. Other thing I want to talk about was 21 Savage getting deported by ICE. Honestly, I didn't know what ICE was. I had no clue what it even means. But I'm going to read exactly what it says. Grammy-nominated rapper 21 Savage was arrested in Atlanta early Sunday by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There's ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Thank you. According to ICE spokesperson Brian Cox, the agency says he is illegally present in the United States. He's actually a citizen of the United Kingdom. And the agency alleges that he entered the U.S. legally in July 2005 when he was a minor, but subsequently failed to depart under the terms of his non-immigrant visa. ICE says he became unlawfully present when his visa expired in July 2006. So he's a freaking kid, man. He comes over here. His parents come over here. He's a kid. And granted, so 13 years ago, was he 8? 7? 8? Now, he was convicted of felony drug charges in October 2014 in Fulton County, which is Atlanta. And again, it's just like, now, 21 Savage had a song where he kind of went after, well, not kind of, he did go after Donald Trump. And rumor is like, you go after Trump, he'll get his sights set on you and he comes after you. And I guarantee you, he knew nothing about this. So now you're going to deport him back, not even back, deport him to England, where he probably knows nobody. I just think that's some dirty, dirty stuff. I'm thinking of all the things going on in the world today. We got murderers, rapists, just real terrorist targets. You worried about this? I mean, you don't deport him. You pull him aside and be like, dude, you got to get your visa right. Okay? Let's get it right so you're here legally. Because the thing about it is they're saying, he's got a police record and everything else. Let's bring it down a little bit. It was 5 years ago. And since then, his career's taken off. And he's definitely, more than anybody else, I've seen this guy make a change. And he's very much becoming almost a socially conscious rapper than he was before. He's really headed more towards J. Cole than something else. I mean, it's just like I've really been encouraged by the direction he's taken his life and how he's really trying to help out the community and underprivileged kids. And then you just want to send him to England. And I see a lot of people on Instagram and social media saying, people got to pull their money together and keep him here and everything else. But what I would also encourage people to do is, especially artists, reach out to those people in England and London in case he does end up getting deported, and make sure they bring him in and make sure he's taken care of when he gets over there, because he's probably not going to know anybody or anybody that. I don't know if he's still got family members over there or not, but let me see if I can find the song, the lyrics where he went after Donald Trump, so I can read them properly. 27, Donald Trump. Here it is. Donald Trump lyrics. Okay. Because they're just saying this. Some people are saying his lyrics may have provoked Donald Trump into looking into the rapper's arrest. The song is called A Lot, which is a great song, by the way. But like I said, he was talking about Flint, Michigan, the water crisis there. And he also was talking about Donald Trump. So the lyric was, the gas was off, so we had to boil up the water. Been through some things, so I can't imagine my kids stuck at the border. Flint still needs water. People was innocent, couldn't get lawyers. And please don't make fun of me, because it always sounds weird when somebody reads a rap lyric. So my apologies for that. But, if any president can get petty and do something like this, it's definitely Donald Trump. Without question, it's Donald Trump. But just the fact that this guy, 21 Savage, he's 26 years old. I'm sorry, he's 26. So 12 years ago, he was 14, so he was 13 when the visa expired. So he was 12 when he came to the United States. Come on now. But the fact that he wrote lyrics that just really, I'm going to read again. The gas was off, so we had to boil the water. Benzitum sings, so I can't imagine my kids stuck at the border. Flint still need water. People was innocent, couldn't get lawyers. The fact that he could come up with something like that profound, and I bet you most people, when they hear it at nightclubs or hear in their cars, they're not really listening to what he's saying. But the fact that he's not rapping about hoes and money and criminal activity, I just think there's so many other things that we should be worried about than that. When I see things like this, it always reminds me of the day my brother passed away of a heroin overdose. I'm looking at the news, and there was a 6-month sting on an Asian massage parlor. So I was like, so we have an opioids crisis in this country, and people are dying every day, and it's no longer a poverty poor problem. It's in the suburbs. Rich kids are doing it. Then it becomes a nationwide problem and an epidemic. And we got this happening, and we're spending our tax dollars staking out an Asian massage parlor, and they busted it. And it was like, I was thinking, nobody ever died from a hand job. The only thing that ever happened was somebody had an unproductive work day after lunch. That's the only thing that's ever happened. And honestly, somebody might have been more productive after that massage. I'm just saying, that's where my tax dollars are going. I'd much rather you have spent 6 months staking out a crack house, or, put it towards, I don't know, a rehab facility. I don't understand that logic right there. And same with this. So now we're concerned that when someone was 14, their visa expired, and they've been in the country illegally for the last 12, 13 years. Instead of just pulling them, coming, getting him and saying, hey, let's get this right. Let's get your paperwork in order and get you back in the States. Not even get you back and say, we're just going to hold you, get this right, and then you can go back home, To me, that makes more sense than, now we're just going to deport you. You knew what you was doing at 13, 14 years old. It doesn't make any sense. All right. But anyways, get off that. And the last thing I want to talk about is Kristoff St. John, the soap opera star, died a couple days ago. It hasn't really come out how he died yet, but from everyone that I know in the business has said he never got over his son passing away. He had a son named Julian, whose mother was Mia St. John, the wrestler. The pro boxer. His son died of a suicide, and I heard he never got over it. And they said everyone that I know that knew him, that knows him, was just like, he was never the same after his son committed suicide. And he just died a couple days ago. And I always tell people, man, just reach out to people, just send a text every now and then, or call somebody and just see how they're doing. I just had, every time I see somebody going through something that I know, I just shoot them a text. And I don't ever bring up what they're going through. I just shoot them a text going, hey, man, just checking on you, make sure everything's cool. That's all I do. Whenever I hear or read or somebody that I know that's going through something, I just shoot them a quick text, man. Just let them know I'm thinking about them. Even if they were in the wrong, just let them know, man, hey, you made a mistake. I'm not judging you or throwing you under the bus because of that. I just shoot them a quick text, man. And it's funny, man. Sometimes you don't talk to people for a while, and then they go through something. And a lot of times I'll get it, and especially when it comes to entertainers, guys I've worked with, actors I've worked with, or comedians. And you think like, yeah, I wonder if they think I'm just reaching out because I go through this a lot, like because I want something. When really I don't. I just want to let them know, hey, man, just thinking of you, man. Just making sure you're all right. I always get a response, man. I always get a response, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Just, I would appreciate if I was going through something. I know that. Like I would, but I got to get that mentality out of my head that when I see somebody going through something, that I don't want them to think I'm reaching out because I want something in the future, which I really don't. I'm good. I'm just reaching out. I remember when Chappelle had the Chappelle show, and I had went to his show down at the Orange County, or it's called the Irvine Improv. And I talked to Dave for like an hour after the show, and I said, hey, I got a couple sketches, man, that I hate to even do this, man, but I got a couple sketches that a lot of people thought would translate well into, or jokes that would translate well into sketches on your show. And I told him it, and he liked them. He said, yeah, man, take my number down and call me, man. So I'd never forget. I waited to call him. And then the day I was going to call Dave just to see how he's doing, I walked by the USA Today and it said, Dave signs $50 million deal with Comedy Central. And I said, shit. I can't call him today because he's going to think I'm calling him because I saw the money deal he just signed. When I waited just to, just give some time and then see what was up. And then, of course, that can't happen. And then he went off to Africa and then he walked away from the deal. And I was like this, oh, I just waited. I waited too long. And then I literally wanted to text him just to see how he's doing because everybody said he was going crazy. And I never did because I felt like he'd be like, oh, Gary's texting me, to see how he can get in. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just bad timing. But I have to get out of that mindset that, if I know you and you're going through something, I'm just letting you know, hey, man, just thinking of you, brother, just seeing how you're doing. And especially with him passing away, with, Kristoff St. John passing away, I just encourage people, man, just reach out to people you know they're going through something. If nothing else, just to say how they're doing. You just never know, man. Especially in the entertainment business, man. We get depressed quick. Man, and I notice like a lot of entertainers when their careers aren't going like they want, it's usually they go to religion, they find God, or they find drugs and alcohol, or they get real reclusive. You just can't reach them. I've noticed that a lot in this business. And I was watching the Golden Globes and Jason Bateman said something real cool. He was like, to every actor out there that feels like you're not good enough or you're not working enough, just know you're one call away. You're just one call away from being in this room. Because he said, I went through a lull and then I got Arrested Development. And he basically was like, came out of left field, got the part, and everything else is history since then. But he goes, I was there when I didn't know where my next job was coming from or why am I not working that much anymore? And then Arrested Development came and the rest is history. I mean, I always say that, man, you are one. This business, man, you never know when that call's coming or when that job's coming that you're going to be working. You just never know. Never. All right. Well, this is another great episode of the Gary Owen podcast. I'll see y'all next week. Go Bengals. If you want to listen to my podcast, just go to iTunes, search Gary Owen, #get some.